Many years ago, a group of humans left Earth to start a new life far away in space. They traveled in big ships, hoping to find a new home where they could live peacefully and build a better future. But something went wrong. The ships drifted, far from their planned path, and the humans lost contact with Earth. They found themselves lost in a part of space no one had ever explored before. This was a place with strange stars, unfamiliar planets, and many dangers they had never seen before. The people on the colony were scared but brave. They knew they had to work together if they wanted to survive. The leaders of the colony called a meeting to explain the situation. They told everyone that communication with Earth might never be possible again. It was a hard truth. The people realized they were on their own now, far from home, with no help coming. At first, life was very difficult. The colony had to use all the supplies they had brought with them. Water, food, and energy were limited. The colonists learned to grow new kinds of plants in strange soils and under different lights. They had to fix machines that broke with few tools and no replacements. The adults worked day and night to make sure the colony could keep going. They also had to protect themselves from the harsh weather and dangerous creatures on nearby planets. Among the people, there were scientists who studied the stars, the planets, and the air around them. They hoped to find answers that could help. The colony survived longer. They soon noticed something troubling. Many of the younger adults had trouble having children. The environment in space, the new foods, and the stress were making it harder for humans to reproduce like they used to on Earth. The colony's leaders became worried because the colony could not grow or even maintain its numbers without new babies. Families wanted children. Children meant hope for the future. But the colony's population was getting smaller and smaller. People began to fear what might happen if there were no new generations. The scientists studied the problem day and night. They tested blood, took samples, and tried different treatments, but nothing seemed to help enough. In the midst of all these worries, the colonists still tried to live their lives as normally as possible. Children played in safe areas, schools continued to teach, and celebrations were held to keep spirits high. The colony's people were kind and supportive to each other because they knew they needed unity to survive. One day, a small group of explorers set off to search nearby planets. They wanted to find more resources and maybe even meet other life forms. They traveled in a small ship with enough fuel for a few weeks. The explorers were brave, but also very careful. The unknown planets were strange and sometimes dangerous. After days of travel, the explorers found a planet that was covered in thick forests and strange animals. The air was different but breathable. They discovered signs that intelligent beings might live there. The explorers sent messages back to the colony, telling everyone to prepare for contact with these new life forms. Back at the colony, the news was exciting, but also frightening. No one knew what to expect from meeting other species. Would they be friendly or dangerous? Could they help the colony, or would they bring more problems? The leaders decided to send a team to try to communicate peacefully with these aliens. When the team arrived, they saw beings that looked very different from humans. They had unusual shapes, colors, and ways of moving. At first, both humans and aliens were cautious and nervous, but soon they realized they could understand each other through gestures and shared feelings. The aliens showed the humans some of their technologies and knowledge about their planet. This meeting gave the colony hope. Maybe these aliens could help solve some of the colony's problems, including the difficulty with reproduction. The scientists started working together with the aliens to learn more about their biology and medicine. Even with hope, the colony knew that the road ahead would not be easy. They were in a new world, facing many challenges they had never imagined. But they were strong. They believed that by working together, humans and aliens, they could find a way to survive and maybe even thrive in this lost part of space. Every day, the colony's people tried their best. They cared for each other, learned new things, and dreamed of a future where their children could grow up safe and happy, no matter where in the universe they were. After the first meeting with the aliens, the human colony felt both curious and nervous. The new beings were very different, but they seemed willing to talk and help. The leaders of the colony decided to send a larger group to visit the aliens' home planet. They wanted to learn more about their ways of life, their technology, and especially their health knowledge. The journey to the alien world was not easy. The human explorers traveled in their small ship, flying through strange skies and landing in forests filled with colorful plants and unusual animals. The air smelled fresh but different from Earth or their colony planet. The aliens greeted them warmly and showed them around their villages and cities. These places were built in harmony with nature, with homes that blended into trees and rocks. The humans and aliens spent many days together, sharing stories about their lives and histories. The aliens explained that they had lived in this part of the galaxy for many generations. They had developed strong knowledge of medicine, plants, and the environment. The aliens also told the humans that their own species had faced difficult times before, and they understood the struggles of survival. One of the most important talks was about reproduction and family. The humans shared their problem. Many of them were having trouble having children in this new space environment. The aliens listened carefully and explained how their species adapted to changing worlds by working with other life forms. They talked about how different species sometimes could help each other survive by sharing their strengths. This idea surprised the humans. They had never thought about mixing their biology with another species before. Some were scared and confused, while others were hopeful. The scientists from both sides began to work together to study the possibilities carefully. They took samples, ran tests, and talked for hours about how such a process might work without harming anyone. Meanwhile, back at the human colony, people waited anxiously for news. Many wondered if these new friendships could bring a solution to their problems. Some were worried that changing their human ways might make them lose their identity, but others felt that survival was more important than tradition. They wanted their children to live, no matter what. As the humans and aliens spent more time together, small groups of colonists started visiting the alien planets regularly. They learned about new foods, medicines, and ways to live with nature. The aliens showed them how to grow plants that could survive in harsh climates and how to heal sicknesses with natural remedies. The colonists shared their own knowledge about technology, engineering, and culture. The trust between the two groups slowly grew. They began to see each other as friends rather than strangers. The aliens even invited some humans to join their families and celebrations, teaching them their songs, dances, and stories. In return, the humans shared their own traditions and hopes for the future. Despite the growing friendship, the challenge of reproduction stayed in everyone's minds. The scientists proposed a careful plan to try mixing human and alien biology in a safe way. They called it a hybrid program, where selected volunteers would work with medical experts to see if hybrid children could be born healthy and strong. This idea caused many discussions and debates. Some people were afraid and said it was unnatural. Others believed it was the only way to keep the colony alive. The leaders decided that this program would only continue with the full consent of those involved. Volunteers came forward, ready to take a risk for the sake of their people and future generations. The scientists prepared carefully, using the best knowledge from both humans and aliens. They created special labs where the experiments could happen safely. They made sure that everyone was treated with respect and kindness during this process. As time passed, the colony's people watched closely, waiting for news of the results. The first hybrid children's births were a moment of joy and hope. These children were different, with unique features that showed both human and alien traits. They were healthy and strong, and their arrival brought new energy to the colony. The colony celebrated this new beginning, but they also knew there would be challenges ahead. The hybrid children needed love, care, and understanding. Some people had trouble accepting them at first, while others welcomed them as a sign of the colony's future. Parents of hybrid children worked hard to teach them both human and alien languages, customs, and values. The children grew up learning about two worlds and two ways of life. This made them special and gave them unique abilities that helped the colony in many ways. The colony also began to see the strength in diversity. The mix of cultures, knowledge, and biology created new opportunities. The humans and aliens together built better homes, farms, and machines. They shared ideas that helped solve old problems and discover new possibilities. Even with these successes, life was still not easy. The colony had to face dangers from the wild planets around them, unexpected storms and illnesses. But the unity between humans and aliens helped them face these dangers with courage and hope. The story of the lost human colony and their alien friends became one of survival, trust, and friendship. They learned that working together, even with those very different from themselves, could lead to a future filled with hope and new beginnings. Each day, the colony grew stronger, showing that even in the darkest parts of space, life could find a way to continue and flourish. The human colony faced many new challenges as the hybrid program began. The scientists worked hard, but the process of creating hybrid children was very complex. Biology is a delicate thing, and mixing two different species, even with the best, technology and care, was never simple. The scientists had to learn a lot about alien DNA and how it worked with human genes. They had many questions and few answers at first. The volunteers who took part in the program were brave. They knew there were risks, but they also hoped to help save their people. Some were couples who had wanted children for a long time, but had struggled to have them. Others were single volunteers who wanted to contribute to the future. The colony supported these volunteers with kindness and respect because everyone understood how important their role was. As the scientists studied the biology of both humans and aliens, they discovered many differences. The alien bodies had unique cells and immune systems that worked in ways humans did not understand before. The scientists had to find ways to connect these differences so that a baby could grow healthy inside a mother's body. They created special medicines and treatments to help this process. The first few attempts were not successful. Some pregnancies did not last, and some babies were born weak. This made the colony sad and worried, but the volunteers and scientists did not give up. They kept trying, learning from every failure and adjusting their methods. Their hope never faded because the future of the colony depended on it. During this time, many people in the colony started to think about what it meant to be human. The idea of having children who were part alien made some people nervous. They wondered if these children would be accepted or if they would face problems because they were different. There were debates and conversations in the community about identity, family, and acceptance. The colony's leaders worked hard to keep the peace and support everyone. They reminded the people that survival sometimes means change and growth. They encouraged kindness and understanding toward the hybrid children and their families. The community began to realize that love and care are what make a family, no matter what species someone belongs to. Finally, after many months of hard work and hope, the first healthy hybrid child was born. It was a joyful moment for the colony. The baby had features from both humans and aliens, a mix of skin tones, eyes, and shapes. But most importantly, the baby was strong and healthy. This child represented a new beginning for the colony. The parents of the hybrid child were proud, but also cautious. They knew their child would face challenges in the world. The colony helped them with education and support, teaching the child both human and alien languages and traditions. The hybrid children learned to navigate between two cultures and bring the best of both worlds together. As more hybrid children were born, the colony grew stronger. These children had special abilities that helped the community in many ways. Some could adapt quickly to the changing environment, Others had stronger immune systems, and some showed new ways of thinking and solving problems. These gifts became valuable to the survival of the colony. At the same time, the colony had to keep facing the natural dangers of space. The planets they lived near had strange weather, sudden storms, and dangerous animals. The colony's defenses improved with the help of alien technology, but dangers remained. The humans and hybrids worked together to protect their homes and each other. The presence of hybrid children also helped bring humans and aliens closer. The two groups learned more from each other every day, breaking down old fears and misunderstandings. They built new friendships and families, showing that differences can be a source of strength, not division. However, not everyone was happy. Some people outside the colony did not agree with the idea of hybrid children. They saw the mixture of species as strange or wrong. But the colony was far away now, lost in space, and those who lived there decided their own path. They believed in hope, acceptance, and the future they were building together. The scientists continued their work, always careful and respectful. They wanted to make sure the hybrid children grew up healthy and happy. They shared their discoveries with the whole colony, helping everyone understand the new world they lived in every day. The colony's people worked side by side, growing food, building homes, and teaching their children. The hybrid children became symbols of courage and adaptation. They showed that life could continue even in the most unexpected ways. The story of the lost human colony was no longer just about survival. It was now a story about growth, change, and friendship across worlds. The colony had found a new way to live, a new kind of family, and a new hope for the future. As time passed, the hybrid children grew older and stronger. They were unlike anyone the colony had ever seen before. Their bodies showed traits from both humans and the alien species. Some had taller frames like their alien parents, while others had softer skin like humans. Their eyes could sometimes change color depending on the light, and their minds seemed to learn and understand things faster. The hybrid children quickly became very important to the colony. Parents and teachers worked hard to help these children learn about both their human and alien heritage. They taught them 2 languages so they could communicate well with both groups. They also shared stories from both cultures, helping the children feel proud of who they were. Sometimes the hybrid children felt confused because they didn't always fit in perfectly with either group, but the colony made sure to support them with love and care. The colony itself began to change in many ways. The ideas and traditions from humans and aliens mixed together. New festivals were created that celebrated both heritages, and new kinds of food, music, and art began to appear. The colony was becoming a new place, a place where different cultures joined to create something unique and beautiful. Even though the hybrid children were special, they faced challenges too. Some people outside the colony had not accepted the idea of mixing with aliens. They thought the hybrids were strange or different in a bad way. But those people were far away, and inside the colony, the children were loved and cared for deeply. The colony's leaders reminded everyone to be kind and welcoming because the future depended on unity. The hybrid children also showed amazing abilities that helped the colony survive in the harsh space environment. Some could heal faster than normal humans, which was very helpful when accidents or sickness happened. Others had better senses and could detect dangers earlier. These gifts made the colony safer and stronger. The children's connection to both humans and aliens also helped the two groups understand each other better. They acted as bridges between the two cultures, helping solve disagreements and bringing people together. The adults began to trust and respect each other more because of the children's example. Life was not always easy. The colony still faced dangers from the wild planets nearby. Strange storms could appear suddenly, and sometimes dangerous animals threatened the farms. The colony's defense teams worked hard to protect their homes, using technology and the unique skills of the hybrids. Together, they built better shelters, warning systems, and safe places for the children to play. the scientists continued to study the hybrid children, learning more about how their mixed biology worked. They hoped to find ways to help all the colonists live longer and healthier lives. The research also showed that the hybrids might be able to adapt to even more difficult environments in space. This gave the colony new hope to explore further, and maybe find other lost groups or new homes. The hybrid children grew up with dreams and hopes for the future. Some wanted to become explorers and scientists like their parents. Others dreamed of building new communities or helping with farming and technology. The colony encouraged them to follow their dreams and promised to support them no matter what path they chose. Parents were proud of their children. They saw in them a symbol of the colony's strength and ability to change. These children represented a future where differences were celebrated and new ideas could grow. Families came together to care for each other, sharing both joys and worries. Sometimes the hybrid children would go on trips to visit the alien planets again. These visits helped them learn even more about their alien side and meet relatives they never knew they had. The alien communities welcomed them warmly, happy to see the new generation growing strong and healthy. Back on the human colony planet, the children shared stories of their adventures and brought back new knowledge. They helped teach others about the importance of friendship, trust, and openness. The colony was no longer just a group of humans lost in space. It had become a true family made up of many different beings. This new family faced the future with hope and courage. They knew that challenges would come, but they were ready to face them together. They had learned that survival was not just about staying alive. It was about growing, changing, and caring for each other. The story of the lost colony was no longer a tale of fear or loneliness. It was a story of friendship, courage, and the power of unity. The humans, aliens, and hybrid children were now connected by more than just survival. They were connected by love and hope. Each day, as the suns rose over the distant planets, the Orcs colony's people worked, learned, and dreamed together. Their hearts were filled with the promise of a bright future, one where their children and grandchildren could live freely and happily among the stars. The years went by, and the colony grew stronger and more united. The children, who were once small and uncertain, had become adults, full of hope and ideas. The humans, aliens, and hybrid descendants now lived together as one community. They shared their knowledge, culture, and dreams, building a new life far away from Earth. This new world was no longer just a lost colony. It had become a symbol of what could happen when different beings came together with respect and love. The colony's leaders, both human and alien, worked side by side to plan for the future. They wanted to explore more of the galaxy, find new places to live, and build friendships with other civilizations. They believed their mixed heritage gave them an advantage because it made them stronger and more adaptable than ever before. Many young adults from the colony trained to become explorers and diplomats. They studied languages, science, and technology to prepare for journeys beyond their home. Some set off on small ships to visit nearby star systems, hoping to find new allies or resources. These travelers carried with them the story of the lost colony, showing others that differences could unite rather than divide. At the same time, the colony continued to improve life on their home planet. Farms grew larger and healthier, new energy sources were discovered, and homes were built with both human and alien designs. The hybrid children, now leaders themselves, brought fresh ideas that helped everyone live better. They created schools where children could learn about many worlds and cultures, preparing them to be part of a larger galactic community. The community held celebrations to honor their journey, from the first humans lost in space to the thriving, diverse society they had become. These festivals were filled with music, dancing, and stories. People from all backgrounds shared their history and dreams, reminding each other of the challenges they had overcome and the bright future ahead. Sometimes the colony's explorers returned with news of other lost groups of humans or alien civilizations. They brought messages of friendship and requests for help. The colony's leaders welcomed these new neighbors, sharing their knowledge and inviting them to join their growing family. The story of the lost colony became a beacon of hope for many in the galaxy who felt alone or forgotten. The hybrid descendants played a special role in this new chapter. Their unique abilities and open minds made them excellent diplomats and problem solvers. They could understand and respect many different ways of life, helping build bridges between diverse cultures. Their existence showed that the future was not about keeping things the same, but about growing and changing together. Though life in space was never free from challenges, the colony had learned to face problems with courage and teamwork. They knew that by supporting each other, they could overcome storms, sickness, and dangers that came their way. Their diversity was their greatest strength, giving them many tools to survive and thrive. Parents told their children stories of the early days when humans were lost and afraid but never gave up. They spoke of the aliens who became friends and the brave volunteers who helped create a new generation. These stories were lessons about hope, kindness, and the power of working together. The colony's people dreamed of a day when they would return to Earth or find new worlds to call home. They wanted to share their experiences and knowledge with others, showing that family can mean more than just shared blood. It can mean shared hearts and hopes. As the sun set over the colony's world, the people looked to the stars with hope. They had built a future where many species could live together in peace. They had created a family that was bigger than one planet or one race. They knew that the journey was not over, but they were ready for whatever came next. The lost human colony, once alone and scared in the vastness of space, had found a new life. Through friendship, courage, and love, they had become something new, a shining example of hope and unity in the universe.